Morning. Well, afternoon. This is Talking Cafe. I'm Bella Lapwood, village agent for Mendip, and today I'm joined by Holly from Somerset site, who's going to give us a bit of an update on what's available at Somerset site at the moment, what the plan is going forward, and a general overview for what Somerset site has to offer. So I'll hand over to you, Holly, and if we've got any questions, please put them in the comments box and I'll ask them when Holly's finished talking so that we can get those answered. And if there's anything that comes in at a later date, then we'll try and send those on or we'll answer them ourselves. So I'll hand them over to you.
Fab, thank you. Well, some of you may know about Somerset site or you may not. So I'll give you an overview of what we do and what services we have to offer before I talk about what's coming up and what we're starting to do, what we're still doing remotely, and I suppose what the future looks like for Somerset site. So Somerset site was started in 1919. Coming back from the First World War, and they had injuries either from gassing or from physical injuries. And back then we had what was called home teachers that went out and rehabilitated soldiers back into the community and taught them things like Braille and how to live with their sight loss. So actually, things haven't really changed in a way. You know, obviously we're doing a lot of other things, but that is still quite a similar path to how, you know, to what we're taking now. So 102 years on, we cover the whole of Somerset and we'll also help people on the borders. So if someone is in Dorset or Devon, or just on that border, then, you know, that's absolutely fine. And the main aim of Somerset site is to keep people independent and able to still live a full, enjoyable, happy life despite the sight loss, because actually, within reason, there's nothing that, you know, they can't do, whether they've got sight loss or not. So we help around 3,500 people a year. The RNIB's figures say there's 23,000 visually impaired people in Somerset. But we're not, you know, how do you know if that's true? There's no way to, but that's a lot of people in comparison to the people that we are helping. So we don't know what that gap is really. But as much awareness as we can spread, as many people that know about what we do and how we can help, the better. So we have various services. So our flagship service is our volunteer visiting service, and that is essentially a befriending service where a volunteer gets fully trained and then matched with a service user to offer friendship, company, support with things like reading correspondence, helping, you know, pop to the shop, going for walks, days out, a coffee, that kind of thing. It's really just building a friendship and having, you know, all those people, you know, having somebody in their life, because often that might be the only person that they see. So it's a really important service. And we've got around, I'm going to probably get the number wrong here, but I think about 250 matches in Somerset to date. So there's a lot of people who have a regular volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers as well. And, you know, we only ask for a very small commitment of a couple of hours a fortnight. It's not, you know, a big onerous thing where you're on call all the time or anything. It's just, you know, it's a lovely service, and often the volunteers tell us they get just as much out of it as they think the service users do, really. So then we have our resource side of things. So we have a resource centre in Taunton, but we have a travelling mobile resource centre that goes all around the county. So this stops everywhere from Wells, Glastonbury, Frome, Yeovil, Wincanton, all the way then to kind of Willerton and Porlock and Wellington, and literally covers the whole of the county. Donna visits about 40 locations with the bus. So great thing about that is, as we know, Somerset public transport isn't great. And if you've got a visual impairment, then it's even worse, really. You can't just jump in your car and come and see us. So having the bus travelling around is fab. It's full of gadgets, gizmos and aids, kitchen things, magnifiers, talking items, and lots of information as well. So, if you're thinking you might find something like that useful, do go and visit Donna. She's really knowledgeable and can definitely help. The dates for the bus, they are always in our magazine, but they're also on our website, which is somersetsite.org.uk. And you can always find a link to them from the homepage to see when it's in your area, or just give us a call anytime. So obviously you are also welcome to come to Taunton if you're this way or you're local. You don't need to make an appointment. You can just come in. We're open office hours, and the shop here is just full to the brim of different things. So then we've got emotional support. So we have an emotional support service with Graham. Graham is visually impaired himself, so he really does understand the journey that people go through. And he is there to provide support and one-to-one sessions with you or a loved one, to just talk through those emotions and what's going on, and help as much as he possibly can. That is over the phone, face to face, and we are happy to meet face to face if people want to. We've also got things like talking books. We've got something called British Wireless for the Blind, which is an organisation that has always an agent to work at Somerset site, and they provide free lifetime loans of audio equipment to people. So they're Roberts radios that are specially made for sight impaired people. So they have big yellow buttons. All the buttons are very raised so that they can be felt, and they're really simple, good quality machines. And that they're kind of £500 machines they're giving away. So they are really good. You have to be on a means tested benefit and registered visually impaired, but otherwise there's kind of no guidelines you have to meet. There's different models to suit different people, because we understand and they understand how important being able to listen to radio and talking books and reading newspapers and all that kind of thing is. And then we've got our kind of rehabilitation side. So we've something called Seeing Life Differently Days, and they are a 4-week program where you come 1 day a week, and we try and hold them in your local area, and you essentially learn how to live with your sight loss. So you get to meet peers who live in a similar area who are also impaired. You get to talk to staff. You get to learn, practical things such as cooking safely. We bring outside organisations into chat. So the rehabilitation officers who work with the county council, people who specialise in equipment come in and do demos and things like that. And they're really valuable courses. And the difference in people once they've done one of those courses is often staggering. So they are a great tool if you're newly diagnosed or just at that point where you want to kind of start embracing your new life, I suppose. And then we have our social side. So we've all missed being social the last year, I'm sure. And so during lockdown, we actually, did an awful lot on Zoom, and we held conference calls, and we did quizzes, and we tried to keep as many social aspects as we could going. But we're now starting to do a lot more face to face. During regular times, we have activities every month. We have social groups that meet. We hold coffee mornings. We really do as much as we can to bring people together, and give them opportunities to do things. Which next week, I think it is, we're going carriage driving with a big group of people. We had a garden party last week. We've got a big boat trip coming up. So, we really do try and have a wide variety of social activities to fill the calendar.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's tons going on. COVID-wise, we're actually all almost kind of back to normal here, really. Many of us are back in the office. As you can probably tell, I'm back in the office now. Our resource centre is open, the bus is back out, our activities have restarted. So we are kind of the view now that, we need to get back out there and kind of get going and be there for people who, have visual impairment and need our support.
So with regards to volunteers, I mean, if somebody was wanting to volunteer, how would they go about accessing that? How would they go about letting you know that they were looking for volunteers?
So you can give us a call. Our phone number is 01823 333 818. Alternatively, go on our website, have a browse, look at the different services and what interests you. Pretty much every service has a need for volunteers. We couldn't do what we do without volunteers. So there's always opportunities, whether you want to do the befriending, help at activities, drive people, work in our office, answering phones. There is a really wide opportunity there for volunteering. And you go through what we call our visual impairment awareness training. So you learn about sight loss and about different eye conditions and how to guide people and all of those things that you will need in the different situations. And you can just call us for an informal chat. There's no commitment. If you just think you'd like to find out a bit more, we can talk you through what's available in your area as well.
Okay. And if somebody was visually impaired and looking to access one of the services, able to just give you a ring themselves, or
absolutely. We want to make things as easy as we possibly can for people. So we don't put any barriers in place. We have a bit of a kind of, not a slogan, but something we've started saying to people in all areas that, if you think sight loss, think Somerset Sight. So if you know of anybody or you see anybody or you are sight impaired, just get in touch. There's no big long forms. There's no official kind of big process that has to go through for referrals. We're very happy to just take them over the phone or email, and just, we want to make things as easy as possible and to provide that support as quickly as possible. We don't want to stick anybody on a waiting list for months on end. We want to help them that day.
Yeah. So is there a kind of, do they have to be registered as sight impaired, or can it just be, you know, somebody who's got older and their sight has got considerably worse?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a possibility as well?
Yeah, they don't have to be registered or certified as sight impaired. If you tell us there's something wrong with your sight, we will support you, whether you've had a diagnosis or not. It doesn't matter to us at all. We're just here to help as many people as possible in whatever way we can.
Excellent. And in regards to your kind of social activities and things like that, are all of those available on the website, or for people?
Yeah, so we try and put as many as we can on the website. With the activities, sometimes they're quite restricted in numbers, especially at the moment. We have to be a bit more careful. So if you're interested in, the social activities, it's best to sign up with us, give us your email address, and then we send those round kind of periodically. Some of the things we've got coming up are, I mentioned carriage driving. We've chartered a boat in Exmouth in August, so we can take up to 150 people on that just for us. And so that's going to be great. We've got a woodland foraging activity. We've got a chocolate tasting one in October. We've got willow weaving. There really is lots and lots to suit different people. Sporty things, crafty things, days out. We're going on holiday to Teignmouth for 2 or 3 days in the summer. There's no end of things going on. So, yeah, best to get on our email list, and then that gets sent around to, everybody who's interested in activities regularly.
Right, okay. It was an excellent service, providing, a wonderful array of things to do and offering massive support. I'm astonished that you've only got 3,000 people that you're supporting out of all those other people that are.
Yeah, I mean, part of us thinks, is there really 23,000? Have the RNIB included people in that survey that perhaps wear glasses? Does that come? But then you'd think there'd be more, probably. We've thought about this before and tried to work out where those numbers come from. Also, there are lots of people maybe diagnosed with something at a very early stage, and actually it's not impacting their sight whatsoever yet. They just know that down the line it could. So actually those people might not need help at the moment. And so, they're not coming to us. But we do an awful lot of GPs. We've got volunteers in the eye clinics. Donna with the buses going all around the county. We try and put as much on the radio as we can. So you would think if there was a lot more people that they at some point would kind of find us or hear about us.
Yeah. So the idea is really, if you have any kind of sight impairment, to get in contact, and there would potentially be something available for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some people who don't need support, but they want to be registered in case they do down the line. They just receive our magazine every couple of months and just keep on top of what's going on, compared to people who kind of join every single service and are really heavily involved in Somerset site. So there's no pressure either way. If you just want to pop into the shop and look at the aids on offer and you don't even want to register with us, that's fine too.
Where is your shop located?
In Taunton on Staple Grove Road.
Right.
So if you
comments box in a minute, just in case.
If you were to know Taunton and you were coming to Taunton, it is the town end of Staple Grove Road, and we're almost opposite the King's Arms pub. So if you find that, you can probably find us.
Right. Excellent. Well, we don't seem to have any questions that have popped up. So if there is any questions at a later date, then we'll either send them over to you and get them sent, or we'll sort these out sort of as we're going along. And I think unless there's anything else that you'd like to say, then we're probably done.
I think in a very small nutshell, I've probably most things. I think, just as I say, if you think of anybody with sight loss, just think about Somerset Sight, and at no point should anybody hesitate to give us a call. We're happy to have a chat, and yeah, that's what we're here for.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much. I really appreciate it. And you've offered a wonderful insight into what you've got to offer. And hopefully, anybody that has got any sight impairment will be popping over to you to ask for some assistance.
Brilliant. Thank you for inviting me on.
No worries.